Hello and welcome back everyone. So now what we need to do is we just want to do a very fast render of the animation, and the first thing I do is I set the camera up where I actually want it. Of course you can have your camera moving around and things like that, but on this course we're not actually going to focus too much on camera action. So I'm going to set my camera at 0, I'm going to press play, and this is obviously where this is going to start. Then if I go to something like 90, and you'll see that this is still within frame. If we go now to 170, and I think it's 190 when it actually releases, so I'll put it round about there actually, and there we go, that's when it releases. So I can see that maybe I want my camera to be out a little bit, so I'm going to just put it back a little bit, something like here, and then I'm going to zoom my camera out just a little bit, something like that, and maybe up a little bit. And now I'll see how much of actual the frame I get with the fireball, and I think I'm going to be happy with something like that. Now I've got that, actually I'll put it back to frame 1, and then now we'll come over to our options. So first of all, again, make sure it's on cycles. Let's set the render to something like 2, and the reason for that is we're going to render this out very fast just to get an idea of what the animation is going to look like. Then we're going to come to this button here. Make sure your settings are the same as these, and make sure your frame start is on 1 and your frame end is on the frame which obviously ends, and then come down to this button here, and what you're going to do is you're going to save it out then as something, it's going to be a film basically, so make sure, I've got mine called Catapult Animation Draft, make sure it's saved out as that. So I'm going to double click that just to make sure it's saved, and then what you want to do is you want to change the file format to FFmpeg. And the reason why I'm just saving it as a video is because with this I don't actually want to go in, grab all the frames and then composite them into a film or anything. Basically what I want an idea of is what it's going to look like. So with that done now, all I need to do is I need to come up to render, and I need to click on render animation. And this will be pretty fast, probably take around 25 minutes, something like that. And once it's done, then we can check out our animation, and finally then we can do our main animation. So let's click on the render animation, and I'll be back after this. So now it's done everyone, what we need to do now is we can just close this down and we can open up our video. So if I open this up, and here we are. This is on a very low setting, but you can see everything is working. And also don't forget the background here is black, but we can change that anytime we want, because it is this wasn't done on a PNG, it was just done on a black background, which is something you can do, or you can put a background in that you want. So if we close that down now, so here we are, and what we'll do is now we'll put this up to, where is it, on here, on cycles. Let's put this up. I find like 800 is very high, you get a lot of detail in there, but it will take a very long time, especially with all the fire and things like that you've got in the scene. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set this to something like 500. It's still going to take a fair few hours. I mean, we have 252 frames to actually do. And then what we'll do is we'll come to here. I'm probably going to leave this overnight to render out, and I'll change this then to back to PNG. And remember, even though we are changing it to PNG, it will just be a black background. The reason for that is if you actually want to change the background of this, you need to go into the world shader and actually composite together a background with it. You can of course go into Photoshop, but I imagine that's a lot more hard work. So for us, we're just going to give it a black background, but we're still going to be using our HDRI light. I think that's the best way to go with this catapult. But of course, you're free to change the HDRIs if you want to, and also you could leave the HDR on there, for instance, or something like that. And then what I'll do is I'll come to here. So I'm going to make a new file on here, and I'm going to call it catapult animation frames. And then I'm going to double click on there, and I'm going to put catapult animation frames again. I'm going to accept that. And then what's going to happen is in that file we're going to save out 252 single frames, and on the next lesson when that's done we're actually going to put those frames together and then render that out as a final video. So I'm going to just make sure that I've got all my options done. So I've got all this done, I've got it at PNG, I've got it at render of 500 samples, I've got it on cycles, and that's basically everything I need. and now I can just come up here and again hit render animation. So I'm going to render mine out now, and I'll see you on the next one, everyone. Thanks a lot, and I hope you enjoyed that. Bye bye.